Hi, Kalurah. I'm Hannah Meyer, and today we're doing another one of our Facebook Lives. So today
Hi, Hannah.
we're talking to Kalurah Hudson, who is one of our designers who's just been with us forever. Good morning.
Good morning, Hannah. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I love your yarn wall. It is so colorful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My dad actually made the storage. Yeah,
Oh.
he gave it to me on my husband's and my 15th anniversary, I think it was. So that was nice. Nice practical gift.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
So for everybody who's been tuning in every week, then you know we've kind of worked our way through some of the yarn and knitting and needle 101s. And this week is our first designer interview. And I know you're the very first one.
I feel so flattered.
So, Kalurah, can you just describe a little bit of your background as a designer? I know you've been designing for a very long time. I'm sure you've got plenty of stories.
I've been designing since I joined Etsy in 2007, but I didn't start designing until I discovered Ravelry in 2008. So about 12 years. But I started out actually crocheting. I wasn't one of those designers that grew up like learning how to crochet or knit from, a grandma or my mother. My mom did sewing, so I knew how to sew a little bit, but it was actually my mother-in-law, Charlotte, that sat me down and taught me how to crochet. And so I started designing in 2008 after I discovered Ravelry. And I had about 15 patterns the first year.
Wow.
And then I started, yeah, I mean, that's a lot. So as you can tell, I was kind of just going for it. But I actually started to notice on Ravelry all these beautiful cabled patterns. And I was like, how do I do that? And I tried crocheting them, and it was a lot of work, and it just didn't look right. So I actually had a work friend that said, you need to start knitting. You need to try this out. And I was like, okay, cool. She invited me to her house. She sat me down, gave me some wine. That was supposed to help. But the problem was she's an English style knitter. And as a crocheter, I hold the yarn in my left hand. So I couldn't pick it up. I got frustrated. I had some good food and wine. It was all good. It was all good. But over the coming months, I was like, I just can't beat this thing. I have to try it. And I actually used YouTube. And yeah, I taught myself to knit with YouTube and discovered the continental way of holding your yarn with your left hand. I'm like, oh, this is perfect as a crocheter, And I started designing, I think it was the very next year that I started designing knit patterns. And Stacy from Knit Picks actually emailed me and said, I like your designs. There's this program called IDP, Knit Picks. And so anyway, long story short, I've been with the IDP program and Knit Picks for 10 years.
Since the very beginning. Yeah.
Yes, and pretty much.
Looking at the number of patterns we have on the website that are yours is just it gives a really nice history of that program and also your just long-term work as a designer.
Right.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Most of our collections to date. I mean, a lot of them.
I try.
Yeah. Yeah.
I try to get in there, sneak in.
I was just saying before we started this broadcast that every time we do a call for submissions, which means that we give like a mood board and some ideas of what we're looking for a pattern collection, and we put it out in the world. You submit most times, if not every time, and every time it's just like, here are Kalurah's patterns. We're gonna look at those because my favorite.
Aw.
So yeah,
that's nice to hear. That's so nice to hear. Thank you.
Yeah,
it's fun.
And IDP, for anyone who doesn't know, and I see that Tracy is asking that question, is our independent designer. Is it partnership program? I always mess it up.
I think so.
Because we only ever.
I always call it IDP program. So yeah, I guess it is partnership, and then you can say program.
Yeah. So what that is people can submit patterns to be on our website or our collections, and they have to be knit in our yarn. And so IDP is a way that we host independent designers' patterns. And it's also a way that we find patterns for our collections as well. It's kind of a twofold program. And again, if anyone has any questions as we go along, please ask them in the comments. We would love to answer them.
Yes.
And then, so you got into pattern design. What is your, would you say, do you have a specialty with your designs? Because looking at your portfolio, you have a little bit of everything.
I do. I'd say probably my specialty is accessories because I do a ton of shawls. And it's funny because my first shawl design didn't come out until 2014. And I actually couldn't stop designing shawls. I still can't. I'm like, whenever I get a design idea in my head, I'm like, that would be great as a shawl. And I mean, the different shapes, crescent shawl, triangle shawl, wraps. I do a lot of wraps. It's just accessories, I'd say, is my forte. But I also really enjoy online video tutorials through my YouTube channel while they play. That will be probably one of my other fortes, is just linking to my own patterns, because I like to be able to, explain things to the person knitting the pattern so they don't get too frustrated if there's a different way of doing it. So,
right.
Yeah.
And since you're talking about shawls, I know that we have a new addition to our pattern library from you. Do you want to talk about that really quickly?
I'm going to sneak peek. I don't know if you guys can see it.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
Pretty little knitted on edging, but this is with Swish Superwash worsted, and it's called Cinder Rose. And it was kind of inspired. It wasn't deliberate, by the college that my daughter just got accepted to, WSU in Pullman. Go Cougars. And yeah, so that's kind of the same colors. It was the first thing everyone said when I made it. They're like, those are WSU colors. But yeah, it's a crescent shawl. It's I can't fit it all in here, but it is super long.
Oh, I love it. I love it when shawls are longer than that, because the short ones are so hard to wear. They're more like handkerchiefs. But the big ones,
and you can wear this as a regular shawl, and it kind of does this cool curling thing, the edging.
That's my favorite.
Because it's so long. Yeah. And you can wear it as a scarf or a shawl or a wrap. So yeah, that's actually on IDP right now. Cinder Rose.
I love it. When you submitted that, Stacy got so excited and she said, it's going up right now. We're going to put it up right now.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love hearing that.
Yeah.
I love Stacy.
I do love too. Her. Yeah. So Stacy is the person.
We'll keep her.
Right? So Stacy coordinates with our test knitters and our tech editors and our independent designers, and she is just the pattern guru at our office. Yeah. Shout out to Stacy, who I know is watching this.
Hi, Stacy.
Hey, Stacy. Yeah. Another question is, someone's asking a question. Angelique is asking, what's the easiest way to block a crescent shawl so both sides match? And I don't know if you have an answer for that. Do you?
So both sides. Do you mean like symmetrically? Like the right half matches the left?
I know when I don't know, because crescent shawls, I guess they kind of arc. I always have a hard time blocking the top edge, because I know that can be a little bit shorter than the outer edge. So that's my struggle. I wonder, I'm not quite sure what she means, but
I'll tell you, normally what I do just with blocking in general, but especially shawls that are big. I love the Knit Picks blocking mats. That's one of my favorite tools, and they link together to, I think, about a yard squared. But you can basically make them the weird shape, like, if you have a U shape for the crescent. But what I normally do is I soak them good and long with a wool wash, and then I roll them up in a towel to get them, as much moisture out as possible. But I basically let the fabric tell me what shape it wants to be, because everything's different. Of course, lace is going to be different, and garter, stockinette. So I basically lay it out, and I start from the middle, especially with a crescent shawl. I'll drag it down and just see what it naturally wants to relax at, and then I'll start pinning. And then I'll let the right and the left shape, sides of the crescent shape just kind of form. So I guess just listen to your knitting.
Right. Don't try and force it.
Believe it or not, it does talk to you. Yeah, don't force it. So that would be my best advice as far as blocking those types of projects.
Yeah, that's very similar. That makes a lot of sense. And it sounds like she is asking about just like the left wing versus the right wing. And also, I think it's a little bit trickier to make it radically different. They generally tend to match pretty closely. And then once it's done drying and you put it on, I think any very minor differences won't show very
right. You're not really going to compare the two sides.
Yeah. Very nice. And then you got another newer pattern from one of our collections is the Sunlight Through the Aspens wrap. And I love the button detail on that.
Thank you.
Lovely. Where do you get your pattern inspiration from? Is it looking around? Is it
wow. Yeah. I actually get a lot from watching movies, especially period pieces. Anne of Green Gables, that's all-time favorite. Downton Abbey. Usually I'm watching one of those movies, something on PBS, and I'll see a garment and just be like, oh my word, I have to recreate that stitch or that shape. But it's almost always from something I see somewhere. So movies, television. Thank you, PBS. Shout out to PBS.
I know. I watch a lot of TV, and every time my husband's like, do you like that sweater? And I said, yes, I do. I do like that sweater.
That's funny. My husband does that. He's like, you're not listening to this, are you? You're just paying attention to that knitted garment. Yeah.
That's the best part.
Obviously.
Yeah. One of my favorite patterns is your Moroccan Muse rug, and that incorporates a lot of textured stitches.
Lots of baubles.
Lots of baubles. So so I see you do a lot of cables and you do some lace and you do some texture stitches. What's your what's your favorite stitch where you just love? Right? Picking it doesn't have to be your favorite, but what are you currently crushing on, I guess is the
currently cables and lace. And I have another teaser, just so you know.
Oh, go for it.
Sitting in the wings. I'm actually going to be publishing a new design called Snow in April. And it's got exactly what I was saying, cables and lace.
And are those baubles too?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess I'm obsessed with baubles too. Yeah, but there's a little sneak peek. It's actually being tested right now. So it will probably launch early June. So if you follow me on Instagram, I have a ton of teasers there. And you can also join my Facebook group While They Play Designs or While They Play Knits.
Yeah.
To see more of that.
We have a question from Bonnie, who's asking,
hi, Bonnie.
She works on several projects at a time, and do you do the same?
My entire family would be laughing right now. I always have my needles in a project. In fact, it's a running joke around my house when I'm missing. I'm all about interchangeables because I'm constantly untwisting them and putting the end caps on and stealing them from projects. Yeah, I would say I probably have 8 to 15, which I know that sounds like an obscene number, but it's just how it is.
You're a busy lady.
It's just me. Yep.
And then when you got projects going, are they, this is a question. Do you primarily knit your own designs, or do you ever venture out, and are you a fan of another designer, and do you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have to say the very first designer that made me fall in love with knitwear was Isolde. Isolde stuff. And I actually have a huge design crush on her. And she actually, I think it was 2011, she saw my Fisherman's Wife neck warmer pattern on Ravelry and the crochet version. And she actually bought me an ad space. I had never met her. I had never spoken with her, but she said, I noticed your design and I really love it. And I want to help out by buying you ad space. And so I've been even more in love with her ever since that day.
Get out of here.
She's one of the friendliest, nicest knitters, designers out there.
I love her work.
She's one of my huge crushes, but I also like Kohi Locatelli, Andrea Mowry, and I've been making a lot of framework bralettes from Jessie Made Knits.
Yes.
I've made 3 of them. I actually made 2 for my sweet cousin who had a double mastectomy last year. And she wanted something really soft, and she actually has different cup sizes. So Jessie has an awesome pattern. All of her patterns are awesome, but you can customize the cups on them. So that was I have a crush on her too. So.
I've seen a lot of those pop up, and I haven't given it a go yet, but maybe now
I can knit it in my sleep now.
Really?
Pretty much.
I love those patterns.
Yes.
Aww.
They're just intuitive. Yeah. So yeah, I love supporting other designers, independent designers especially, but I try really hard to feature them on my social media pages. And, this is one craft that I think is very, very supportive of everybody.
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
And I have, I guess he doesn't want to come. I was going to show you the While They Play mascot. He's running away.
Oh, maybe he'll come back.
Here he is.
Oh, get out. I had house rabbits for years. I had no idea.
You can see a plume of hair here.
Yes, always.
This is Kuro, our Japanese Harlequin rabbit.
Oh,
but sometimes I'm trying to get him in there.
Oh my goodness.
Right? Yeah, he's got two sides like a Harlequin.
Oh,
black and white.
Yeah. What a
he likes to help me. He likes to help me block. He'll pull out my pins. I should say unblock when I unpin my blocks. He likes to pull them out with his little teeth.
Rearranging.
Yeah. So, hi.
I had
He was trying to get up in my lap. So and Angora. I would love to have an Angora.
Yeah. My favorite were lops for a long time. I had a lot of house rabbits that were lops, and they were just so sweet. But the Angora was feisty, but very fluffy.
Oh, he's feisty.
Yeah.
He likes chewing things.
Oh yeah.
I keep my needles and my circular needles way, way, way up high, far away from him.
Yeah, mine used to chew the ball bands off of all of my yarn. That's his specialty.
He loves ball bands. That's his favorite. His favorite snack. Paper, yes.
Oh my goodness, I had no idea. That makes my day.
He has his own Instagram account too.
I didn't know.
Kuro the bunny. You can actually get to it. I've shared it on mine.
Oh, I bet.
And I have it in a highlight on my Instagram. So.
Oh, I know what I'm doing after this.
Make him famous.
Well, I know before we started talking that you said you also had another sneak peek, which is I think right behind you on your couch. Yeah. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. This is made with Big O. Oh, and I can't remember the name. I think it's Heather Rabbit Heather, which is
or hair
or a funny coincidence.
All the browns blur together in my mind.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see it, but I actually published this one 2 winters ago. It's Winter Cabin Throw, and it's not on IDP yet. So this is the sneak peek. It'll be going up as soon as I email Stacy.
I love Big O for blankets. Actually, speaking of which, because you've designed with us for so long, I think you've tried most of her yarns at this point.
Yeah.
What's your jam?
My jam is, I would say the Swish Superwash.
Okay. Yep.
Just because it's
so soft.
It's so soft. And it just blooms when you block. Like the Cinder Rose I was showing everybody, it just blocked beautifully and none of the colors bled, and it's washable. So that's probably my favorite. But the Big O for instant gratification knits, and if you need a gift on the weekend and you got to bust something out really quick, I'd say the Big O is one
all the soft yarns.
Yes, my favorite.
Yeah,
I'm biased.
Yeah. Generally, so you prefer the wools. Anything about cottons? Do you normally? I don't think I see many things like there's the Moroccan Muse rug, which is in Dishy, of course.
Right. I actually like the Comfy.
Oh, another soft one.
Exactly. I made a bralette from Jessie Made, but I can't remember the name right now.
Oh.
But I made it in that.
That would be lovely.
I've done several tank tops, like, cool weather stuff.
Right.
With that type of yarn. But yeah, cotton's tricky. I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
It tends to grow. So I have a lot of garments that are big.
Oversized, relaxed.
Relaxed, exactly. Yeah. They're my relaxed garments.
Yeah.
But Stacey, I like the Comfy a lot.
Stacy and I just did a podcast episode, or it's going up this week, where we're talking about cotton yarns, and that's Erica and Lee are talking about that. And then Stacy and I are talking about like warm weather garments and knits. So we're talking a little bit about that, where I had a fear for a long time of putting all the work into something that would then grow if it was in cotton. And then I finally bit the bullet and I did it, and I am hooked now. So we'll see if I have more. Sure.
Yes, gauge is important.
Gauge is
you have
important.
to, yeah, you want to gauge swatch so you know how the fabric is going to act. That's my
for sure
number one tip with cotton.
Gauge and blocking the swatch, just so you know where it's going to go. Treat it however you're going to treat it in the end. So if you're going to machine wash it, machine wash it then. Yeah. Do you have any tips and tricks for somebody who is looking into getting into designing or toying with the idea? Like how would you suggest it to a newbie?
Yeah. Well, basically, first off, just whatever designs are your favorites, just kind of take the same ideals from them. I by no means copy them, but I have to say, just use your favorite elements and put your own personality on it. But I do know a friend of mine, Francois, it's a Roja knits, Frenchie.
Oh, yes.
Frenchie. Yeah. She has a program actually where she will actually help you. She has templates. I know she does the really cool 5 shawls, 5 days challenge on Instagram.
Very cool.
Yeah. So that's a good resource too. There are people out there that'll be happy to help you. But yeah, I would say my best tip is just to take your favorites from different, designs that you've seen and different patterns that you followed and start there. And I mean, like I said before, the knitting community and crochet community is so nice and friendly that it's never a problem for you to just reach out and, ask someone.
Right.
Can't go wrong there. What's to lose?
We're seeing that we started it since we've been staying home and the world has changed a little bit. We started
just a little bit.
And I've been so delighted to, I guess I'll call it eavesdrop on the group and just see all the help that everyone's giving and
yeah, it's amazing.
And just, it warms my heart. So
yeah, I know.
I'm seeing that all over the internet these days, and just all the support and love for designers and for other knitters new to knitting. Yeah.
And that is important right now, to just reach out to your small businesses and small business owners locally if you can. But yeah,
absolutely.
Good time to do that.
And your pattern designers too. I mean, everybody's in it for the long haul. So
right.
Yeah. While we wrap up, if anyone has any questions, please chime in. And we will answer them. And in the meantime, do you have anything that you'd like to talk about, Kalurah, while we're on? Any upcoming projects, or maybe your own Ravelry and things like that?
I jotted some notes down, and I'm actually curious what everybody's doing right now with your time.
Yeah.
With all this extra time.
Busy. Yeah,
exactly. I've been just, like I said, knitting different projects from different designers, and I'm discovering new ones, and I'm trying to work really hard on updating my projects in Ravelry. I'm bad about that, which is hilarious for a designer. Right? I'm good about putting up the patterns, but actually filling out the work, the notes and uploading photos, I'm terrible at that. I think my last project was from 2013. It's bad.
That's a big gap.
It is a long time. Yeah. Yeah.
We do have a question from somebody that is, what is your favorite knitting tool? And I know you talked about interchangeable needles earlier.
Ooh, my favorite knitting tool, aside from blocking mats, it may not be your traditional tool, but I would say probably the little set of tapestry needles. Because I literally need like a necklace with tapestry needles hanging from them, because I swear, I think I have 20 sets laying around my house because I'm so bad about losing them. Me too. And I do a lot of sewn bind offs. So I use the nice big yarn needle for that, and just weaving in ends. If you get stuck at an appointment or in traffic,
right.
I'm not saying do that, but not that I've ever done it, but yeah, like school pick up and drop off. I'll pull out something and do the tedious, dreaded work that normally you put off. Just keep that in a bag in the car and weave in those ends.
Yeah, I didn't think about it, but that's one of those tools where it's harder to fake it, like using something that's not meant to weave in your ends. So like
Yeah.
a needle with a big eye.
Crochet hook.
It's so much harder.
It is.
Oh,
Yeah, I'd say that's probably my favorite.
We've got some people saying what they're doing. So Krista says she's making crop tops for the summer. So it sounds like she's not alone.
Yep.
And we've got Angelique, and she's doing cotton short sleeve sweater and doing all of her blocking. So it sounds like she saved up all of her projects and is blocking them all at once.
Yeah.
Great, especially with warmer weather. I feel like I was
put them out in the yard. They can lay out in the sun and dry.
And and somebody said that they're knitting their most favorite projects, like the pretty as a peacock shawl and the forest path stole.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, and then someone's test knitting snow in April. So
my testers.
That's Jackie. So she's been busy.
Hi, Jackie. She got me to say her name.
Yeah. So it sounds like everybody's trying to keep busy. I'm doing a lot of comfort knitting too, where it's just a tried and true pattern.
Totally.
I don't have to think about like your bralettes. I just don't want to think about it.
Yeah. Put your brain on pause and knit. Netflix friendly knits.
Always.
That's what I've been doing a lot of. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm working on Andrea Mowry's The Weekender sweater.
Are you?
I've had it in my queue ever since she released it, but I'm doing it in Malabrigo.
Oh, it's got beautiful.
It's got those pretty slip stitches. I think this colorway is called Storm Cloud in the Rios. But yeah, that's what I've been working on, and it is like a Netflix and knit type project.
That one's been in my queue for so long, and I feel like I'm the only one on the internet who hasn't done one yet. So maybe I'll resolve that.
I decided to spoil myself and buy all the yarn for it and finally make it. So yeah, I've been working on that. But actually, something I was thinking of asking everybody in chat and you is if you've tried the Dalgona coffee, the whipped coffee.
I have not, but some of my friends have. It just seems like so much work. I'm also a tea person, not a coffee person. So I feel
see,
a little bit.
Yeah, my daughter and I tried it. Yeah, we just used our immersion blender with the whisk attachment, and so that was like it was done within 2 minutes. Yeah. But do you remember, like as a kid, I used to go to my aunt's house, and she always had those little international coffees, cafe au lait flavored. That's what it tastes like to me.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. It's not bad, but there's no way I would make that every morning for myself.
No, it's definitely a special treat. Or maybe
exactly.
Yeah. And then
it's pretty.
What else are some people doing these days? I mean, it's just, you got plenty of time sometimes.
Yeah.
Plenty of time to try a new thing.
Do a weird Instagram trend.
Yeah. It's so funny to me. I have not tried it. I would love to try it that one these days.
I know sourdough. Everyone's making sourdough except for me. I haven't done it yet, but lots of baking.
So much baking.
Huge amount of baking. Yeah. I've always enjoyed that. So that's an easy one to fall back on.
Yeah, I've had my sourdough starter for years, so I feel like you guys are late to this.
Oh, you've been training for this. I need to get my hands on a starter or make my own.
So, they're everywhere right now. I see them being traded in my neighborhood Facebook group.
Oh my word, that's funny. I'll meet you in the corner.
Yes, it's like it feels like just a shady deal, but it's definitely just sourdough starter being passed around endlessly.
That and toilet paper.
Yes, you can make a really nice like gift box, sourdough starter and toilet paper.
And toilet paper. Yeah. And Dalgona coffee.
Right. And maybe a package of those darning needles, because everyone seems to need them these days too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I think that's all we have for today. Thank you so much for talking with us and sharing.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. It was fun.
And for anybody who would like to watch more of these, we have a video tab on the Facebook page where you can see the past live streams. We are also doing this every Thursday morning at 8:30, so you can catch various people talking about yarn and knitting and crafts. And then we have our Instagram as always, and Kalurah has her Instagram where you can catch up with both of us and what everyone's working on. and our learning center. I believe, did you do a series of classes with us? Am I remembering that correctly? Crochet?
I did crochet, yeah.
Yes. So you can catch Kalurah in our crochet section in the Learn Center in the top right of our website. And yes, and then our podcast is every other week. So this week is the magical week for podcasts. If you are into those, you can find that on our website or any of our streaming services. And until next time, happy knitting, I guess. We'll see you then. All right.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.